So it's great to be here today, see everybody, see all the local officials and friends at the Maury Alliance, and it's great, good time and good reason to be here today. And it's honoring a century, over a century of business for this company. And we kind of got on this about a year or so ago. The governor and commissioner kind of commissioned our department to find all the businesses that have been in business over 100 years. And we relied on our good stakeholders from all the communities across the state. We started out with the distressed counties, which were 8 or 9 counties. That went so well and was so well taken for everybody, we decided, well, let's open it up to all the other 80 whatever Suffolk counties. So again, we got, we got with our good friends from the local stakeholders, in this case, the Maury Alliance. And I think, Kayra, this is probably our third or fourth one we've done? Second? We just did okay, was that the only one we've done? I thought we did
so far.
Okay, well, anyway, we've done about this is probably our 10th or 11th across the region. I covered 13 counties of Southern Middle Region for the Department of Economic Development. But anyway, Maury Alliance was good enough to submit everybody that they thought or found out were over 100 years, so that's why we're here today. We wish we could have been here on the 100th to do this, but we didn't have anything in place at that time to do it, but we do now. So hopefully people turn 100 now, we can get them on the 100. But either way, 104 was just recently, is that right? Okay. So anyway, again, I'm John Hatfield, Regional Director of the department. I got a couple of people from our department here today, regular that works with me. Lindsay Tipton, that
From Columbia.
from Columbia. She was able to stay around the home today and come be with us today. So everybody knows Lindsay, and Sarah Elizabeth that lives here. She works with us, and everybody knows Sarah Elizabeth. But anyway, good to be here today. And before I just get to saying thank yous and the mayors and everybody, just tell me a little bit. I'm interested in like what's the history of the company? Obviously, it started 104 years ago. How did it start? Who started it? And just a brief. I'd just be interested in that.
Brief, that's tough.
Okay. Well, however long you want to spend on it.
In 1921, a group of extension agents in the University of Tennessee at Morgan Hall in Knoxville, Tennessee, they got together, and there was just a situation back in 1921 that there was a lot of decisions and lawmakers and being made inside cities and towns, and the agriculture was beginning to get left behind. Their voice wasn't being heard. And so their idea was to form the Farm Bureau Federation to advocate for farmers and agriculture across this state. And so from that meeting in Morgan Hall, and in the months after that, the Farm Bureau was founded. And the first president was Joe Frank Porter, and he was from a little farming community in western Maury County. And as a matter of convenience for him in that day and age with 1921, with no internet or anything else much going on, it was just a good convenient time for him. He was set up in a little desk in the basement of the bank, and so the courthouse, I guess. But anyway, which one was it, Lee?
Courthouse.
I always get them mixed up. We got a great relationship with the bank here, so I will give him credit when I can. But he served for 25 years in that role. And as the time they moved around the city a little bit.
Where was the first office?
The very first office was.
Well, that was when you moved out on your own. Where was the first?
They went a couple different locations there in downtown.
Okay.
You'll have to get somebody more.
And how long have you been here now?
We were built here in the late 1960s.
Okay. All right.
We've added on, and we gotten bigger and outgrown it. We got some places around
A couple
town.
other locations in town.
Yeah, but it all started from the need for the farmer to have a voice. That's why we call ourselves the voice of agriculture here today. And so, we've grown. Obviously, we've added service companies along the way. About 76 years ago, we had the health plans. Ryan Brown's with us here today, representing them. And then the next year after that, our insurance companies, had fire protection and homeowners and automobiles and all that added on. And it's just, we've added a life insurance company after that. So it's just the need to serve rural Tennessee and agriculture. It's been our mission for 104 years, and we're continuing it, and we have great expectations for the next 104 years.
Well, you've been doing something right, so hopefully it'll keep going on, right?
Very, very few entities in the world are 100 years old. There's been a lot of them come and go, but we stand tall, and hopefully we'll be be able to bring good value to all of our citizens across the state as time goes on.
And someone said you're the 9th president.
I'm the 9th president.
And how long have you been president?
I'm in my fourth year.
Fourth year, okay, very good. Well, listen, I'll say what I wanna say and present you with this, but I also wanna get some other people to speak here too. But, you know, again, this was just our token appreciation of your longevity, first of all, and just what you do for the community, all the people listen, my wife's an insurance agent, so I surely value the importance of insurance and what it does for families and communities and farms and businesses and all the generations that you've helped. I mean, 4 or 5 generations now, which I've worked with over 4 years. So, just on behalf of the governor and the commissioner and our department and the state, just want to say thank you for doing it and doing it here in the state of Tennessee.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
all right.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. I'll let the mayors want to say something, if they'd like to say something.
When you said 104 years, I think somebody in my family has had insurance with Farm Bureau for about that long. But this is such an integral part of our community and the state. Your longevity has to do with fantastic leadership through the years. We have agriculture on our state seal, and it's as important now as it once been. I remember working with you all and fighting for some things on the Hill for the dairy industry to keep the waters of the U.S. rule out of the state of Tennessee. And I hope we can continue to work for our rural communities like you have always done. And congratulations.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate you so much.
Well, Mr. Mayberry, first of all, let me just say that you were able to synthesize a very complex history in such a short amount of time. I think you may have a future in politics. That was a very good overview of this industry and this organization, because it is one with a story to tell, and so I appreciate that overview. Also, let me just say, let the record reflect that the county and city mayor are here together, and all of a sudden we're about to see some rain. I think there may be something to that. It's also, it's difficult to follow Mayor Butt, because in this building, because I know the importance that agriculture has had on Mayor Butt and her family, and on the contributions that they've made to this organization. And so I would be remiss if I did not say while I was here, Mayor Butt, thank you for your contributions to this organization, and I know that the Farm Bureau feels the same way. When I have the opportunity to speak in Columbia, around town, one of the main really roles of the city mayor is to be sort of the chief promoter of their community. And when I speak, I always talk about the 4 things that I think separate us and make us a little bit different from the rest of similarly situated communities. First, I always talk about Columbia State Community College and how just fortunate we were to be the site of the state's first community college. I always talk about Maury Regional Medical Center. Maury Regional Medical Center is a sophisticated medical institution that it serves over 300,000 people in southern Middle Tennessee, that saves lives on a daily basis. I also always talk about the fact that we are the home and the ancestral home of James K. Polk. And how many communities across America can say that they have one of those? There are not many, and we are one of those. And last but not least, I always, every time, when I'm having the opportunity to speak and promote Columbia and what makes us great, is the fact that we are the corporate headquarters for the Tennessee Farm Bureau Federation and their related industries. And I'm not saying that just to say that, Mr. Mayberry. I'm saying that because I truly believe that Farm Bureau and what it has meant to this community, while it's meant so much to agriculture, it's meant even more to Columbia and Maury County, Tennessee. I also wanted to point out, I happen to be a former intern at Tennessee Farm Bureau, which is one of my claims to fame. And I wanted to say that, you know, when I was an intern here, the dress code must have been a little more stringent, because I made sure to wear a tie today entering the building, because there was a time where I think that may have been a requirement. I see one other with a tie, but I wore a tie that has a flag on it. And it's a tie that I generally wear for Flag Day or for 4th of July. But the reason I wore my flag tie today is because when I think about Tennessee Farm Bureau, and if you think about like a word cloud, if you put Farm Bureau, Tennessee Farm Bureau there, all the things that pop up that when you think about, whether or not it be their property and casualty, their life insurance, their Farm Bureau health, whether or not it be the ag in the classroom, whether or not it be the communications, the voice of agriculture that they are. When I think of Farm Bureau in that word cloud, I would also put patriotism and love of country. And so that's why I'm wearing my flag tie today, because I think this organization stands for that as well. I'll leave you with this. When I was thinking about the importance of that little old room and that little old courthouse at the time. This is the quote that Joe Frank Porter said. One of the best, my favorite books that I have in my law office is a book from the ground up that was written by Murray Miles. And because Murray Miles was still here when I was an intern, I happen to have an autographed copy of that book. And that book has stayed with me for a long time, since back when I thought I was in the class of 2000 intern class, but now that I think about it, it must have been the class of 01 intern, because it would have been after my high school summer. I don't know, I lost count, it's too long ago for me to even remember. But that book is in my office still. It's made it through 25 plus years, and it's very important to me. But this quote from Joe Frank Porter, I think, sums it up best. He said, "Looking backward, I can see a little table, 2 cane-bottom chairs, and a second-hand typewriter in one corner of the county agent's office in the basement of the courthouse in Columbia. A little sign on the table read, 'The Tennessee Farm Bureau.' It was a good thing the sign was there, or else we might have been overlooked." And that was Joe Frank Porter and his statement on how and why we got to Columbia. And I dare say to Mr. Porter and his family and the legacy that he's left, the Tennessee Farm Bureau has not only not been overlooked in its 104-year history, it has been a leader in the state of Tennessee, and how grateful we are for that. Final thing I'll say is this: Mayor Butt has done an excellent job of ensuring that the Maury County Courthouse, which no longer serves as a courthouse, remains an active, viable building. I think we all agree that the second that building ends up becoming dormant or without a purpose, then that building would deteriorate, and we've seen too many buildings in our community deteriorate in ways that require bad things to happen. And so I am thinking off the cuff here today, Mayor, as the county is looking to do some renovations and some upgrades to the Maury County Courthouse, perhaps we ought to find that little old room and that little old courthouse and recreate what that room might have looked like and make that part of the history of Maury County Courthouse. And so I have not that jurisdiction, that's her job. Hate to put her on the spot, but I think that sounds like a pretty good idea. In sum, let me just say congratulations on behalf of all of us at City of Columbia. Here's to 104 years.
So if you want to recreate it, and I'm not officially volunteering it here today, but we still own that desk that was there.
Oh, wouldn't that be awesome?
I can show it to you, it's upstairs.
That sounds like a plan.
Half of the
And we love it being up there, so I don't know if we
Oh,
can
I
get
don't
back
know.
We'll have to.
We might have to take it on loan, Mayor, but
We'll
we'll
talk
do
about it.
that.
Yes, that'd be awesome.
But we talked a lot about the insurance in our companies, and they do so much across this state for so many people and how they serve, and we talked about Brian, but Bobby Pulley, he's the heir apparent. He'll be taking over as CEO of our insurance companies in January 1. As Mr. Jeff Panel's gonna retire, unfortunately. Jeff's been around a long time, done a lot of work, but it's time for him to go home to his grandchildren. But glad to have Bobby Pulley to step in his shoes. And Bobby, appreciate you being with us today.
Thanks, sir. Will, you got anything you want to say?
Yeah, just a few words for the record and for your sanity. This is the third, because you celebrated ours.
Thank you.
in
Oh, that's
November.
right. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we turned
I knew there was
100
another
in October of last year, so you guys got a little bit on us. I think it may say something that the voice of agriculture was built, and then 4 years later, the voice of business in Maury County. I think that speaks to the importance of agriculture in our community. And to echo a little bit of what Mayor Mulder said, you guys have a huge impact statewide, and we value that and appreciate that. But as the local Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development Agency, we truly appreciate your impact as one of our largest employers. Whenever we are working to recruit companies here, your name is always brought up as an example of the type of businesses that we have here in the community. So we truly appreciate that.
Well, and I will say that we are so glad to be here in Maury County. I mean, our forefathers had a vision to have it here. Maybe it was by happenstance a little bit, but we have been eternally blessed to be here for 104 years. So many of the state farm bureaus across this nation are in the state capitals. And I hear all the downside about how they're in that congested area of higher living expenses, hard to get people to come into that. And we've always thought it was great to be here, but it's great community leadership like these two standing here and those before them that's made this work for all of us. And so we are blessed, and we appreciate all those efforts for so many years.
I was gonna ask, how many employees do you have here now?
Oh, wow. I mean, it's statewide, but here in the building, probably 600-700 total.
Wow.
And
And it is the largest farm bureau in the United States.
It is. We are, if you can believe, Tennessee is the largest farm bureau. We're 690,000 members across this state that we serve in one way or another. And just an honor and a privilege to be a part of it, but great tradition and you know, like I say, hope we can be here for much longer.
And you have a lot of employees that have been here for quite a while.
We do, we are blessed to have.
I heard somebody a while ago said he'd been here a long time.
I think this day and age, when you look at statistics, you know, people try to move jobs every 5 to 7 years. I don't know where we're at, but we're better than that, because most people have all along thought that Farm Bureau was their dream job. We've seen 4-H'ers and FFA folks and our own Young Farmers and Ranchers organization, that we promote youth on every turn, and that's paid off, because they see the value in Farm Bureau and what it stands for, and they want to come back and work for us and continue. I wish we could hire them all, but that's unfortunately not the way it works, but they go on and make good careers somewhere.
Well, thank you again. We appreciate everybody being here today, and I was very glad to be able to, and honored to be able to give this to you today. So,
Appreciate it.
yeah, thank you.
So much.
Yep. Okay, so if I can have y'all